And I think that being able to break these generational cycles of poverty and being lower on the socioeconomic scale is so important. What is your advice there to people who do say to you, "Well, I grew up poor, I'm gonna be poor too?"
Yeah, so I mean, first of all, I understand how you feel that way. And there's this thing we have to be really, really careful about, this mindset. And in psychology, we call it learned helplessness. And it's really, really dangerous. And the studies that have determined learned helplessness, do you want to hear about them? It's kind of, yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So it's actually really sad. But what they would do is they would take a dog and they would put it in a cage that was electrified. No, this is terrible. It's like torturing animals. But it's a good illustration of the torture that people endure who end up with this mindset. And what would happen is they would do an electric shock in the cage, and the dog would jump around trying to get out, trying to escape, and then eventually it would learn escape is impossible. So it would just lay down and whimper. By the way, just terrible, terrible science. But then what they did is they changed the situation so that half of the cage was not electrified. So literally, all the dog had to do was hop over here, and it would not be getting a shock. And what they found is the dog didn't even try. It just laid down and whimpered because it had learned escape is impossible. And so one of the challenges and one of the reasons I create content on TikTok and social media is to try to give people a sense of hope and empowerment around the fact that you actually can change your financial life, and it's actually not that complicated, and it's not this secret set of strategies that only rich people have. The system is rigged and you cannot achieve success. I mean, I'm trying to break some of those down because I grew up with that mindset myself. I grew up lower income. I thought, well, I had all the stereotypes. And by the way, I've studied all these in research to see if they were true. So first of all, I would tell you if they were true. But most millionaires in the US are self-made. Most went to public school. Most work full time. They're not inheriting all their money. Now, certainly some people do. And I hope my children inherit a lot of money, by the way. I'm not disparaging that. But just to realize that there is a path to bettering your life financially, and
Mhm.
it's accessible to everybody, is one of those things to help break that pattern. Because when you grow up in poverty, quite often there's trauma associated with it. There's fear for your safety. You certainly do not get access to the best education, the best opportunities, and so there's a real part of that. There's not enough money, and I'm suffering, and I'm being traumatized around it. And the challenge though is to realize that now that you're an adult, you have the power and the ability to change your life.
Mm.